In today's clip, I'm going to go through my decision-making process as to what to do when one of my investment is facing being delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. Oh boy, I do enjoy learning new things, so let's learn something together. Ayo, Zempak here. Another day spent broadening my horizons. So apparently the current macro-political circumstances is making it harder for me to invest in China, or rather, public Chinese companies. I mean, to be clear, I've only invested a little bit in Chinese stocks because to me it's a hedge against the US market, right? And as a percentage of my portfolio, all of my Chinese stocks added together do not amount to much. Do you guys invest directly in individual stocks in foreign markets, or am I the only dum-dum? Please comment, like, and subscribe if you can empathize with what I assume will be a fun time calling financial institutions today. Anyway, still, it was a surprise to hear the New York Stock Exchange will be delisting several large Chinese telecom companies, right? Including the one that I own, which is China Mobile. I mostly picked this stock because it seemed like something similar to AT&T or Verizon in the USA, in the sense that it has a good dividend payout rate, yield, a relative lack of volatility compared to other Chinese stocks, and perhaps slightly more upside since its market is less mature than the US, right, compared to US telecoms. Alas, since my purchase maybe like 1.5 years ago, the US and China has gotten into a straight-up trade war, and then, the global pandemic happened. So this stock, honestly, hasn't done all that well. But as you know, I am a buy and hold type of investor, right? So I was just going to ride it out until this news of the listing came out in the last week, okay? Really puts me in an awkward position. Am I going to be forced to sell as my only option? This is what I wanted to find out as I called my brokerage to really kind of narrow down my options, all right? So earlier today, my brokerage already sent an email specifically about the telecoms being delisted, and they outlined 3 options. They said, 1, you could trade it. 2, you could move it to a foreign institution to hold these stocks. Or 3, you can convert the ADR type of stock, which is what you can buy of foreign companies such as China Mobile, on the New York Stock Exchange. You could convert this type that I've bought to the foreign local ordinary stock, right? Which in the example of China Mobile would be local ordinary stock from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange instead. So why am I calling my brokerage today? This is because I was mostly interested in option 3, which is converting the ADR type of stock to foreign local ordinary stock. Because I like buy and hold, so trading it seems to be antithetical to that, and really I would like to keep that as my last option, right? And number 2, moving it to the foreign institution. Honestly, I'm just kind of lazy. I don't live anywhere foreign to the USA, nor do I have any real deep connections with any other country. No, not even China. I don't actually have a bank account there, though I probably should get one just for tourist reasons, okay? So what I did was I called my brokerage, and I'm guessing a lot of people had the same questions because their global services division put me on hold for like half an hour, okay? By the way, side note, the on-hold music, which for brokerages are just financial news, really makes me actually miss, traditional elevator music, okay? So when I finally got a person and asked about this option 3, which is conversion of what is currently listed in the New York Stock Exchange simply to ordinary stock, right, on the Hong Kong Exchange, I realized that we hit another snag, okay? Because as I was told, even though my brokerage will happily help me convert ADRs to local ordinary stock, even after they do that, they would ask me to do step 2, which is moving the foreign local stock to a foreign institution, right? Because apparently the US brokerage aren't allowed to hold these particular foreign stocks at all, okay? So they could do the conversion for me right now in January 2021, but by summertime I would have to find another place for these stocks to be held at. So that pretty much forces my hand, okay? I have to sell. All this because of a trade war started by Mr. Orange Douche. Thank you, you goddamn moron, okay? Nothing I like than being forced to undiversify because of a man who doesn't even have a minor grasp on such simple concepts as facts and reality. Well, you deal with the cards you're dealt with, I suppose. I think, you know, I'd like to be a optimist occasionally, right? The silver lining is that at least I don't have to decide which stocks to sell to get some cash. And also, silver lining number 2, since I'm taking a capital loss on this one, could always be used to offset the capital gains from the future sales of my old company stocks that I know will have actually quite large capital gains. And finally, third silver lining, I guess, you know, this also helps me simply minimize the portion of my portfolio that are just in individual stocks. But also specifically individual stocks in foreign markets, right? They already have a habit of nickel and diming. If you own one of these, you'll see occasionally, sometimes, you know, quarterly, sometimes maybe biannually, they'll hit you with some foreign random tax or a specific fees that only, you know, is relevant for foreign holdings. I want my equities portfolio, to be honest, to be as hands-off as possible, so good riddance to any of that, right? Gotta love finding some silver linings to this rather quixotic quest of mine today, right? Let me know what you do in a similar situation. Do you hold stocks in foreign brokerages, like what option 2 outlined? Or would you? In the meantime, check out some of my other clips in the corners, and cheers.